Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Speed Force Racing's Premier Division. This is round one. We're in Australia at the moment. My name is Adam. I'm joined by John and Peter. How are you doing, guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, same here. We are doing pretty good.
Brilliant. So, Peter, you're not racing this season. You come second in the Drivers' Championship last season. Is it just you given up on gaming for a little bit now? Just want to concentrate on some other stuff?
Oh, yeah, sort of. Well, first of all, I'm not enjoying racing at the moment, so I decided to join you back in the commentary box and do commentating.
So, who's your pick for today? We'll go with John first for quali.
Oh God. Noak.
Interesting. Peter?
Well, yeah, for quali, yes, no way, but for the race, I think Fletcher will beat him.
I think Fletcher's going to get pole and the win. If it's dry.
Oh, well. Will be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So should be quite an interesting race. The midfield should be maybe a little bit closer together with a couple of new additions to the grid. If we'll go through the new additions, we've got Honey Badger. Also, Aspheric is rejoining on a permanent basis. And then we've also got Peter's going to pronounce this driver's name.
Peter Solheim.
There we go. We'll just call him Ped. I think John landed on Ped. There we go. We're going to call him Ped. So we'll see what's happening with the weather. What should be hopefully a good race, no matter what the weather.
Yeah, I think it will be a fun race. Oh, and it's raining. Well, yeah.
That's not good.
Well, it says here, it will dry up within the next 10 minutes.
Wow.
And then for the race, oh God. It's raining for the race.
For the whole race?
Full race.
Yeah, for the whole race, yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Is it a heavy rain or just like rain?
Looks like it's going to be heavy rain for the race.
Heavy rain, yeah, well, fine.
That should be quite interesting, especially with a few of the new guys in the field. Maybe a little bit nervous for him, but like even maybe for Jade as well, because Jade's did race with us, but then she left. She's back. Maybe she could be a bit nervous joining the fold again.
Yeah, well, do you see the guys are running on ultra-soft tires?
I do see that.
Okay, so it's not a bug on my screen as last year.
What I find interesting, they're going out now, but within the next 5 to 8 minutes, it's gonna dry up.
Yeah, well, I think they're gonna get a bank of time, definitely, because the track is gonna improve a whole lot. But you risk your race, because if you lose it now, then you're gonna have a bad starting position, and that's just a bad sign for the race.
Can we just clear something up? They're all on ultra softs. Is it a bug, or are they actually just generally going onto a wet track with the ultra softs?
No, they are on ultra softs.
Yeah, they're all on the ultra softs on my one as well.
Okay. With Codemasters, you have to be sure with them.
And that's the first one. Blood and Sand was in the gravel. So it shows that the track is still very wet. But the drivers can use DRS, so...
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
And who's starting? I think Humbug will be the first one who start the lap.
We'll go to Humbug.
It must be drying up, because if I'm looking on the tyres, if you put the inters on, you're 1.5 seconds slower.
So that's quite interesting. That's gonna maybe make a few drivers doubt themselves, because Ferric's sitting in the pits and he's currently got on the inters on, so he may have to change that. So we're currently we're on board with Humbug at the moment. Humbug, a driver you know well, Peter. How do you think he's going to attack this season?
Well, he's a pretty good driver with some pretty sick tactics. So if it's a wet race, then I think he will win. But overall, I think he's gonna be in the top 5 throughout the season. So yeah.
Do you reckon there's any chance that Techno can keep his championship?
Well, yeah, he can, because he was very consistent. He was the most consistent throughout the first season. I think he only had like 1 DNFs, and he attended almost every race. So why not?
Okay, so what lap times are we looking in these conditions? It's going to be what, maybe 2-3 seconds a lap slower than in dry conditions?
Well, we'll find out in a minute, I believe, because Novak and Techno is going to finish their lap. So, but yeah, I think like an additional 5 seconds. Yeah, that's like 6-7 seconds off from a pretty good lap in dry conditions.
So we're on board with the Haas of SFR Chopper. Let's see what he can do. He's been putting a lot of practice in, I know that, and I think a few of the guys actually did wet practice, so that's going to come in handy for the race.
And I just made a mistake. I was gonna say like 12 seconds. We're off like 12 seconds from a pretty good lap.
So we'll just see if Racing Pod's going to come out on the Inters. He's still sitting in the pit, but it looks like he's attempting to change his mind. He was on the ultra soft tyres. As you can see,
it's
go on.
Yeah, thank you. It's pretty clear that Techno held up Novak throughout his first lap, because they almost did the same lap, and I saw that Novak was fully behind Techno and finished his lap behind him.
Interesting. So another driver, Uzi, is going on the Inter. So do you see track conditions actually getting a little bit worse out there, Peter?
I wouldn't risk going to Inters after I put on Ultras.
So just rule it out completely. So maybe the drivers that haven't set a time is maybe better for them?
Yeah, I would rule out
Oh,
Inters.
Chopper's binned it. Let's see if he can keep it out the barriers. He does. So a little bit
yeah, the
too
track
fast.
is improving. Josh now is on top of the timesheet.
Yeah, Josh with a brilliant lap, 134.412, and Chopper has crashed it again.
Yeah, I think those wet tires were pretty dirty, and that's what caused him to crash out.
So with Josh sitting in provisional pole at the moment, do you reckon any driver realistically can get anywhere close to him?
Definitely, I think.
Are we talking maybe top 4, top 5 drivers being within maybe 0.3 of a second of the pole position time?
Well, I think the track is gonna improve still a whole lot. Like, if the predictions are good, like John said that the track is gonna dry up by the end of the qualifying, then I think like a 4-second advantage is clearly in the track.
You know, when you've got a kind of dryish qualifying and you've got the race which is completely wet, do you actually set your car up for the race or to get a higher starting grid?
I would set up my car to the race. Well, that's just my opinion. What about you, John?
I normally, if I know it's going to be a wet race, I would set my car up straight away for the race and not worry about quali.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's interesting. I suppose if it's a wet race, there's going to be a lot of carnage turn 1.
Yeah, and I think turn 2 is even worse, because a lot of cars are trying to get some positions, and yeah, you can get into trouble when you're in the midfield. So that's the only risk when you set your car up to wet race. But if you think like everyone else should, I believe, to set their car up to wet race, then your pace is like basically the same, or the setup is basically the same.
I tell you, a driver that is sticking out at the moment is Lord JB. We currently got him on screen. He's 4/10 of a second behind Josh, which is quite surprising because I didn't think they were that close in terms of pace.
Yeah. Oh, Jade just right into the wall. Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job so far. Just like the new guys, Honey Badger, Peter Solheim, they are doing quite a good job.
So as Jack abandons the lap, comes into the pit, we'll stick with Humbug. He's, what's that, a 100th of a second behind Fletcher. So it should be, maybe if he can get a clearer track, he should be able to try and challenge that, maybe get a better lap time down.
Well, I think if you have conditions like this, then and the track is drying up, then you want to be the last guy who crosses the line.
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, that's a tactic that's used in real F1, especially like around places like Spa. We've seen that happen with Di Resta. It just shows you maybe being last out on track is probably the best option.
Yeah, because the track improves quite a lot. Like in under. Yeah, go on.
What's interesting as well, I'm just watching Yuzi. His sector 2 time was a 24.8, and that is faster than what Josh's sector 2 time is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go. Peter called it. The track is getting a little bit better for the drivers, so we expect times to tumble, and it's going to be quite interesting because you've got SFR Josh Fletcher in the pits. He's coming out of the pits now on super soft tyres, so maybe you can get a faster time and start on a slightly harder compound.
And Uzi's first.
On pole.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be a race against the clock, I believe, clearly.
Yeah, it's going to be race to the checkered flag for qualifying, which could maybe hamper a few drivers. So they're going to all be out on track, and they could get held up.
Yeah, I think Yuzi's got held up by the car in front of him, but I'm not sure on who it is.
Oh, gamey things! What a lap! 131.5.
Yeah, the track is definitely improving now.
There we go. So Peter called it right. He knew this was going to happen. Drivers were right to go on the dry compound tyres. So it just shows you there's a lot of time to be had.
So now, who do you think will get pole position?
I'm going with SFR Josh Fletcher.
Okay, I think it will be between Josh, Humbug, Nowak and Techno.
Okay, what about you, John?
I'm still sticking with Nowak.
Still sticking with Nowak. Okay,
yeah.
Should be an interesting one. As we've got 40 seconds left of qualifying with many drivers starting or about to start their fast lap. Got Williams. Oh, what was that? The Williams driver just don't know. Just got the Williams just drifting right in front of him.
That was Humbug and Honey Badger.
Yeah,
that
I think
will be investigated.
Yes.
Look at this.
Look out.
Josh is winding up to start his timed lap now, so he activates DRS going down the start-finish straight. Go on, Peter.
Yeah, you can still get held up during these close stretches. And Gamey with another quick lap.
Oh, Techno. It's going to be times will be coming down quite a lot now with the track in perfect condition for the cars.
Yeah, Techno finished his lap, so I think he won't be in pole position.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, yeah, great spot there, Peter.
And I think Nowak will be the last car to go over, because I'll just keep an eye on.
No, Josh is right behind Nowak. So these two, and look at Josh, he's on the super soft tires. That's a bit of tactics, but I don't know. I have a feeling that in these conditions, if you use a harder compound, then you can be quicker. I had a race in Barcelona where I did this, and I was quicker.
Lee Nell is currently in provisional pole 127.751, but we expect that time to be broken with Noack and SFR Josh Fletcher all coming round. Lord JB retires from the session. This is going to be quite a mixed up grid to what is the usual norm for our league.
Honey Badger.
And it's going to be a different
Noack?
gap between everyone because a lot of drivers
Yeah, that's Noack.
were still in the
Noack.
wet conditions.
Noack is in pole position.
So, John, you called it right.
Yeah, and just noticing as well, Honey Badger and Humbug have been dropped down 5 positions.
Yeah, they both received penalties. That's sad for Honey Badger.
But
Because Humbug is down in 11.
what's interesting as well is Josh is on the Super Softs.
Yeah, that's what I told you. Like,
Interesting.
Sorry,
well,
just a difficulty there in my controller. So Noack getting his first pole of the season. Great little bit of gamesmanship between him and Fletcher, I expect, through the race. Is it important for Josh to get in front of Noack maybe early on in the race? Oh, look at the rain.
oh. I don't want to jinx it, but I think there will be a crash.
Yeah.
On the first lap.
Torrential rain. So, just waiting for the drivers to press ready to start this race. Not everyone's going to be looking forward to starting the race in this weather, especially because it's not going to even improve for the drivers.
I remember to one of my races in these conditions around Australia, and it was horrible.
Let's see what these guys can do. So a few new guys in the grid, but a lot of the drivers you know from last season. So do expect maybe a little bit of contact, but drivers should be able to control their race starts a little bit better. So we're on board with Noack on the formation lap. Mercedes driver getting his first pole position this season and a decent lap as well. Timed it right coming out of the pits while the track was improving.
Oh, the track is pretty slippery. I think everyone will need this formation lap.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of having it on, just because you don't know what the track's going to be like from qualifying to the race.
And I think that's something happened with Josh, and he's back on the grid. Josh is back on the grid with DJ on us. I think they touched.
Yeah, they must have touched with the conditions, but at least they know where they can push the car from the start of the race.
Yeah, it's important.
So we'll go down the field. So Lee now in fourth position. Great start for him on the start of his second season with the league. Techno, last year's champion, starting in fifth position. Peds is in 6th, 7th Gamey Things, 8th Honey Badger, 9th Aspheric, 10th Uzi, Lord JB is 11th, Jade is 12th, Blood and Sand 13th, Smelly Badger 14th, Racing Podge 15th, Humbug 16th, and SFR Chopper is 17th. Humbug not having the best of qualifying there.
Yeah, he was pretty unlucky with Honey Badger, because I don't know what happened between the two of them, but they definitely touched, and they made contact and both got penalized for it. So yeah, a bad start for Humbug. Last year's third place, which is still a pretty nice result.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the debut season, it's brilliant for the drivers. So
And,
we wait, the grid's still filling up.
Yeah, for the
There's
first
one
ones
more driver.
you can see Noack is using minus 1.5 laps of fuel, while Josh is using plus 1.5 laps of fuel, which will help Noack so much in the start, I believe.
Okay, so
It's
5
much.
lights in Australia and they're off. So here we go. Tentative start by every driver there. A few drivers getting caught by a bit of wheel spin. We will go see what's happening. If we can see through the mist, we'll go on board with SFR. Josh Fletcher is in the Ferrari, getting a bit of a contact there from TJ Honest.
And they're pretty nicely through.
So let's see some casualties. Blood and Sand, he's lost 4 positions of the start. He's currently down in 17th position. Techno getting past Lee.
Nowak is leading the way.
So in this race, you're obviously going to make what, the one stop for the tyres. Is it important for Josh to maybe press a bit harder against Nowak, or try and just let him have maybe a couple of second gap?
I'm just checking. Something happened back down there.
Aspheric has crashed out. Is he still going?
Yeah, he's still going, but has lost a lot of time.
Quite a few drivers at the back of the grid are starting to struggle with conditions. A few have caused the still to have a bit of damage, but we'll go back on board with TJ Honest. We go back on board with him and just had a little bit of contact with Techno Thriller. That would be quite interesting to see if any damage has occurred as a result of that.
Yeah, and look at that. He's overtaking TJ Honest. And he's doing it pretty clearly and cleanly. Nice job from him. He couldn't get the move done, but he's doing a pretty good job, and he got a pretty good start as well.
And the good thing is he's pushing early in the race, which is, for some drivers, won't be. So it's going to be quite, it's going to pressurise maybe TJ Honest into maybe a mistake.
Yeah, and remember, it's for P4, and that will be a good debut. Because
two drivers in the pits as well, just to let you know.
So Uzi and Lil JB in the pits. Oh yeah, there's Blood and Sand and BDS. Jade Rios, 4 drivers already pitting. It looks like the track is biting back.
Yeah, Lord JB's had a new front wing change, so has Jade. And I don't know if Blood and Sand did because I've just missed him.
So Josh is climbing a little bit closer to Noah, gaining a tenth here and there, but still 6 tenths of a difference between them, which is going to be quite frustrating for Josh. He's going to have a lot of spray coming into the on his screen, which is going to annoy him quite a lot. He's got to make sure he gets his braking points spot on as well with the conditions.
It's very hard. It's very hard to drive in the dirty air, and yeah, the rain makes it even worse.
And just noticing as well, the front 2 are leaving the rest of the pack behind at this minute.
Yeah, I think other than Nowak, Josh and Techno, it will be pretty hard for anyone else to get into the top 3.
We're on board with Peds at the moment. He's currently 5th. He's a second behind TJ Arness. The track's just not improving one little bit, and the rain's getting heavier, and you can see the spray just affecting a few of the drivers a bit too much. Some drivers braking a little bit earlier than usual.
The nice little battle down here between Honey Badger, Lee Nell and Humbug.
Yeah, and Humbug is joining them, yeah. Humbug made a pretty good start from 16th. He's now up into P9.
7th position game for Humbug, so he's definitely on his game today. He's going to try and challenge and maybe get past Lee now and try and get further up the field.
Yeah, Lee just made a mistake and Honey Badger just went at it and yeah, overtook him easily.
There we go, very close.
In the pits now.
There we go, so Podge is pitting. Looks like Lee now, Honey Badger and Humbug are going to have a great little battle come the little back straight bit of the track, so it should be quite interesting to see what's going to happen. Humbug looks like he just inches a little bit closer, a little bit too close there, nearly to Lee now, a little bit of contact nearly happening.
Look at the first 2. Outstanding battle. They are following each other pretty closely. And yeah, Josh is pushing pretty good to not let Nowak go away with this.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because in races before, Nowak just seems to pull away and just keep gaining seconds as the laps come down. But it looks like Josh has maybe got the better of him at this track if he's still trying to rein him in a little bit.
Yeah, and remember, Josh has improved a whole lot throughout Season 1 and throughout the break between Season 1 and Season 2.
I don't know how he's come so great. He started the season as you'd say he was an okay driver, but he looks real professional. The standard of his driving,
Yeah.
the way he puts it into practice, the practice he does is hours upon hours. It just shows you what a unique driver he is.
Yeah, just practice and perseverance. That's yeah, and a bit of talent as well. That's necessary. But I think practice beats talent if talent's not practicing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, we're going to go on board with Josh. There's a few tenths of a second between them. Noah having a little bit of slide on exit at the corner. Will Josh be able to just gain a couple of tenths on him? Just see if he can outbrake him. It looks like Noah's braking very early, but let's see what Josh can do. He's going to follow him around this corner.
Well, I
Honey
think
Badger's all over the back of gamey things at this minute. Ooh.
ooh. Yeah, Lee's losing a lot of time because he's lost half of his front wing.
There you go. So a few drivers are suffering. Look at the gamey things is trying to keep Honey Badger behind him, and it's becoming quite tense between the two drivers. Honey Badger's having a little look. He's going to try and make the move. Nope. Thinks better of it, sticking behind him for now.
T. Jonas is making made a bit of a mistake. Well, he's going on.
Noah getting the fastest lap, 140.456 on the wet tyres. Going down the start-finish straight is Honey Badger trying to get past Gamey Things. Let's see what can happen. Gamey Things notorious for being a very defensive driver, but a good one at that.
Oh, what a nice braking zone by Fletcher. And he is pushing Novak to his limits.
Do you reckon this could be the race that we see cracks in Noak's performance when he's actually getting chased down by an equal driver?
Well, it can be. Well, add that it's raining, but it's not a pure dry race, but raining is part of the sport.
I suppose it just maybe shows Josh maybe is a little bit of a better driver than Noak. No disrespect to Noak, but Josh is using little or no assists.
Well, yeah, I think they are using the same amount of assist.
I'm sure Noak maybe uses a couple of different ones. I'm not too sure. I may be chatting rubbish, which is not the first time.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. I only know that they both use braking assist and traction control, but okay, you can get rid of it anytime if you want. You just have to learn to drive without it.
Honey Badger and Gamey Things are still going at it. Is Honey Badger going to make the move? He does. He's got it on the inside. Brilliant.
He made a similar move on Lee a couple of laps ago, and he's doing quite a good job.
He's a driver that's standing out for me at the moment. He's doing some decent laps.
Well, yeah, unfortunately happened that incident between the two of them, like between Humbug and Honey Badger. That's pretty unfortunate. Because I think he would be further up the field if he wouldn't have that incident.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Humbug's an amazing driver, as we know, because of how well he did last season. Still seeing Josh is about 9/10 of a second now behind Noak. Noak seems to be gaining a bit of clear air.
Yeah, he's starting to find his grip, get the confidence down, and he's starting to pull away a bit, but I'm not afraid. I think these two will have a good fight.
I think we're going to have a train in a minute between, I'm going to have to wait for him to pronounce his name. Peder Solheim, Honey Badger, Gamey Things, Lee Nell, Chopper and Humbug. I think they're all going to be together soon, because that Peder Solheim seems to be holding them all up.
Yeah, it looks like he's struggling in the conditions.
Honey Badger is an outstanding driver to me for the first glance.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's showing some real skill and he's got great race awareness as well.
I think if he continues like that, then he can get
Oh, a bit of contact there.
yeah, he can get up to P3. Definitely, he can catch Techno.
On board currently with Honey Badger. He's all over the back of Peds. Peds going defensive, taking a couple of lines interesting there. But let's see what Honey Badger can do.
Be interesting if Honey Badger suffered a bit of damage going into the back of him there.
Oh, Humbug made a move around the outside of Chopper into turn 1. That was nice. And Uzi's in the pits.
Lord JB is not having the best of races. He's trying to get near the top 10. That will probably be his aim for the race.
Usually he's got another front wing change for another driver.
Honey Badger's... Oh, he got unlucky with that one. Well, he was playing it pretty right. He wanted to undercut Ped, but Ped went too deep and made a half spin, and they touched. But I think none of these drivers have front wing damage, which is cool.
Interesting thing up front is Noak is 2 seconds in front of Josh, so that's either Josh like laying it off a little bit, or maybe Noak just pushing a little bit harder as we've got Racing Podge has crashed, or no, he's just DNF'd in the pit.
Humbug just lost it a little bit as well, so he's down into P10 now.
It's either one what you said, Adam, or maybe Josh is starting to lose his grip, and yeah, you are driving in the dirty air, so you have to be aware of tire wear.
Do you reckon that could force Josh into an earlier pit stop than maybe Noak would have done?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think dirty air can cause a lot of tire degradation, which is not helping you. But if you're quicker, then you can get through the drivers in front of you, so it won't cost you as much tire wear. Or if you cannot overtake someone, then I think the best option is to lay back like 2 seconds and you can drive cleanly.
Okay, so on board with SFR Chopper. He's chasing down Lee Now. He's 7 tenths of a second behind him and closing in quite fast as Lee Now looks to be struggling in the conditions.
Yeah, Lee has that damaged front wing, so I think that's what
yeah, that'll affect him bad, especially in the weather like this.
Yeah, he had a bad start as well.
Go on board and see what's happening at the back. We'll go on board with Jade, chasing down Blood and Sand. About 4 tenths of a second between them. We'll go on board with Jade as she goes and follows Blood and Sand through a tricky little corner in a dry, especially when it's wet. It's a little bit more harder as she nearly went into the wall there. Keeps it nice and on track, and she's going to still follow Blood and Sand round.
Yeah, I think Techno gained a bit of time on Josh now.
So that's interesting. Techno Thrillers trying to catch up to Josh, and Josh is losing a little bit of time to Noak. So these the next pit stops will be vital because it'll be probably the only pit stop of the race. So they're going to have to time it well and maybe find a bit of space.
Oh yeah, lap 15, I believe that would be exactly the perfect time to pit.
I'm just watching Honey Badger at the minute. From the final sector, he was 6.3 seconds behind TJ Honest, and he's just coming round to the end of the first sector, and it's 5. It was 5.6, but he's mucked up just a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jade and Blood and Sand having a little bit of a battle going on for 14th and 15th position. No points awarded there, but at least they're battling, so track position is a high for all the drivers out here today. They want to finish as high as possible.
Yeah, you won the start of the season pretty well. And also, what do you think of a potential undercut for Fletcher? I think maybe now it's crucial, so to stay close like this to Novak and undercut him for Fletcher to win the race.
Yeah, what if you're saying lap 15 for tyres? What Josh go in lap maybe 14?
Maybe 14, 13. It depends on the tyre wear, but I think yeah.
Oh, it's getting quite messy down here. Jade cuts the corner, and I think she's had contact as well.
Yeah, just a little bit side by side there as well between Lee now and Chopper.
Yeah, and Honey Badger is doing a good job.
So we've got 4 cars all closely together. Jade, Aspheric, Uzi and Blood and Sand. A little bit of clashing together with a couple of wheels, a couple of drivers going off wide. Looks like Uzi's trying to line up Aspheric, the Renault driver, trying to get past the Toro Rosso driver. Can't do it just this moment.
And do you know what, guys? Like, Techno is still within striking distance for a potential win, I believe, because he's not that far away.
Just jumping on board with Chopper. He's trying to make a move on Lee Nail. Lee Nail defending not too hard, giving enough space to Chopper. Let's see what Chopper can do.
Humbug's joined in the action as well.
Let's see how they're going to do it. They keep it nice and friendly, giving each other enough space through these tricky corners.
Ooh, Humbug. He was close. They're putting in some outstanding battles.
And also keeping it clean, which is brilliant to see.
Yes.
Especially when it's raining as well.
Yeah, Lee's had enough, I believe. He'll come in and change that front wing.
So now Humbug will be chasing down SFR Chopper down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Humbug having a little look. He's not going to make the risky move yet. Going to keep it composed and still stay behind Chopper, but we're in about 3-4 tenths of a second between them. Give a quick rundown. Nowak is in first, SFR Josh Fletcher is second, Techno is third, TJ on is fourth, Honey Badger is fifth, Ped 6th, 7th, Gamey Things, SFR Chopper 8th, Humbug 9th, Smelly Badger 10th, Lord JB is 11th, 12th is Lee Now after a stop, Uzi is 13th, 14th is Jade Rios and 15th Aspheric with 2 DNFs. So it looks like Josh is losing a little bit more time, down to it's up to 3.0 seconds now. So Nowak seems to be pushing a little bit further and a bit harder on his tyres. Maybe Josh just overused his tyres trying to attack Nowak.
Yeah, I think he was trying.
Chopper's lost it a little bit.
I think
Humbug's gone past him.
I think Fletcher was trying to desperately overtake Novak, and he might lost a bit of. You might lose a bit of time now here.
Do you think maybe we were to expect a gap of 3 seconds between Nowak and Fletch, or is it just because of the weather?
I think it's acceptable in dry and in wet conditions, and I think Fletcher can be just as quick in dry conditions as he is now in wet conditions, compared to Novak, of course.
Gamey Things is just pitted as well.
So right now I'm not giving this championship to Novak.
Who do you think? Who would it be, the top 2 in the championship come final race?
The first 2 guys, but I don't think. So I'm not sure about the order before the final race.
Okay, so Jade is having a little bit of a battle between herself and Uzi, and Uzi's trying to keep on the back of her, but it looks like Jade is pulling away down the start-finish straight. Of course, no DRS in use due to the conditions, So Jade must be running slightly lower aero to maybe Uzi is.
Yeah, I agree with you, Adam.
So Josh crosses the start-finish line, start lap 13, 2.8 seconds behind Noah. He's got a lot to do. He's got 16 laps to do it in, and also the pit stops. He's going to have to choose if he's going to undercut Noah, because that's probably his more likely chance to try and get past him during the race.
Well, if I was Josh, I would make my pit stop now. Knowing that I can make 17 laps on a set of wet tires, and I can get the undercut on Novak and get into first position and then hold my position. That would be my strategy.
I think that is not a bad strategy at all. I think Josh probably may use that if he's got the same mind as you, which you're both pretty close with your racing strategies. So it could be quite interesting if Josh uses that.
Well, he's a clever driver, so. But everyone has their own opinions about tactics and strategies. So. And Lee's putting. Yeah, go on.
I think you're gonna say something. Lee's putting on Inters.
Yes. Maybe they are waiting for the track to dry up a bit.
That's an interesting call. The track doesn't look like it's improved at all.
Novak has come in, I believe.
He has.
Yes,
Noak has pitted, so that's maybe pushed Josh further away from Noak. Is Noak gonna? Josh is staying out.
Yeah, and he's put on the wet tires, and Techno as well. They both.
Techno's gone on Inters.
Yes. Now it's interesting.
Is the track actually getting better or not?
Well,
I don't think it is.
Maybe their engineer called it, like it's time to come in and change these tires.
So a couple of drivers going on intermediate tyres, which is interesting, but it could, of course, be the winning strategy. We'll see what's going to happen, but Techno, last season's champion, current champion, is fourth and on the Inters, and he's got Peds about 4/10 of a second behind him.
Humbug has just gone onto the Inters as well.
Yeah, well, for me it seems like the track is getting drier.
So with Noah committing to the wets, if the track does dry up, that kind of throws it back into Josh's control.
I would stay out now.
Lord JB has gone on to Inters as well.
I would stay now for one more lap.
Do you reckon one more lap and it's into weather, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be quite interesting. Lap 14 out to 29, Speed Force Racing Premier Division. We're at Australia, and it looks like it's heating up. Some drivers are going against the grain and going on the inter tyres instead of the wets. So we could get a race where a few drivers could actually maybe sneak a few positions where they usually wouldn't. So it's going to be quite exciting.
Josh is coming.
Let's see what Josh is going to pick. Is he going to go for the inters, or is he going to go and stick with the wets?
The Inters are out.
Those tires are Inters. Yes.
Brilliant, there we go. So this is going to be interesting.
I think Novak made a mistake, like he just hasn't switched the panel and he put on wet tires. Like, I think it's clear time for Inters.
So Josh is coming out of the pit, as we can see on camera. Noah is going around turn one. There's probably about 3.2 seconds it should be between them. So Josh has got a lot to do. He's on the inter tyre, which a lot of drivers are switching to now. So it could be interesting.
Check out Techno. He's a lot closer to Fletcher than he was. So the inter tyres are working.
Yeah, I think Techno has gained about 7/10 on Josh's the difference between Josh. So it looks like Techno's pushing and gaining enough time now on Josh.
What I'm thinking Novak is doing is that he came for Inters because the track is now getting drier, but it will get worse. And yeah, the drivers on Inters wouldn't make up that much of a time if they make a change for Inters and then come back for wet tires.
As you can
If
see,
you
most
know
of
what I mean.
the grid have switched to the Inter tyres now. So a split grid on what the best option was for him for the race. As
Yeah.
Lee Nell goes fastest, 139.6. So the Inter tyres are the right tyre to be on. Noak looks like he's
One
made a
third-
mistake.
139.6, and we are just waiting for Novak's time. I think it's gonna be like 2 seconds slower.
Oh, he has a slide coming at the last corner, Noak. He's still
it's
hard
a
on
better
it.
time. It's still a better time.
So Noak
So-
Noak's still putting in a great lap time. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if Josh can make the Inters work like some of the other drivers are doing. As Peds is now pitting, and it looks like he'll be going on the Inters. He's currently 4th position, but will lose that once he's stopped.
Techno's just put in the fastest lap. It was a 1:38, I think it was 0.8. I'm not really too sure what it was now.
Yeah, the Techno is chasing now Fletcher.
It looks like Josh is getting no closer to Noak, but Techno is closing in on Josh, so Josh is going to have to make his mind up and try and get into the race mood that he needs to be in, to be a bit more aggressive, because Techno is catching him.
Yeah, Techno's the reigning champion. Is clearly on his way to P2, and maybe for the race win. Because I believe now the tires are level pegging, and now you can turn to either side.
So we've got Chopper all over the back of Peds, 8th and 9th position. See if Chopper's getting a little bit frustrated behind this driver. Chopper looks like he's got more speed to him, controls the slide well on exit of the corner, and he's going to keep and try and hassle the new driver to the grid, and he's doing quite well in his first race, which is brilliant to see, as is Honey Badger too.
Yeah, and Humbug is 5th. 6th, sorry, 6th. He's 6th. I think he might deserve a driver of the day
That
so far.
definitely from the start, starting right at the back, and he's gained so much for the
Techno is
race.
gaining time.
Techno is getting the faster laps. Noak is losing time to Fletcher now, so Josh is 3 seconds behind him. 3 or 4 tenth loss there for Noak, and Techno is hovered around the 1.5 seconds behind him, behind Josh.
But this is going to be an amazing finish, I believe, between the three of them.
I think it could be right on that. Lord JB is trying to chase down Smelly Badger, whilst Chopper is also trying to chase down Peds. They're all within a second of each other. Let's see, we'll stick with this battle between Smelly Badger and Lord JB, 8 tenths of a second between the drivers. And let's see what Lord JB can do down the start-finish straight as the sun's starting to poke through the clouds. Looks like the conditions are suitable for the inters, and looks like the drivers on the wets might be suffering a little bit. Maybe in a couple of laps time it could get too much for them and they may have to pit again.
Techno is clearly closing in on Josh, but Novak is losing time as well. But I think from the top three, it's Techno who is the quickest at the moment.
So Techno showing some of the pace and some of the driving that got him the Drivers' Championship last season. He's going to try and defend that with all his might. Got a few drivers nipping at his heels who want to take that championship, so he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there you go, another fastest lap.
He's 1.3 seconds now behind Josh, so Josh is going to have to be very wary of the oncoming Techno Thriller, who's rapidly catching him up.
The first sector is clearly the driest out of all three, I think.
It
then-
does look like that, yeah.
And then the other two is, it's like level.
Well, it
So
looks
you
like
can,
Honey Badger actually was on. He pitted for wets. He's gone on to the inters. So do you reckon Noak is going to make that stop?
no way.
So he may
think-
have done. He went for the undercut, but it kind of ruined his race because with everyone
Yeah.
switching to inters.
I think he rushed it a little bit.
So currently the standing order is Nowak is first, SFR Josh Fletcher is second, 3 is Techno Thriller fourth, TJ Arnott is fifth, is Humbug Gaming Things is sixth, seventh Peds, eighth is SFR Chopper. Honey Badger after stopping again for the Inters is ninth, and Badger is 10th.
And Techno is closing and closing and closing. But remember, Nowak is still first, so...
Yeah, it's two different things, isn't it? To get close to a driver, then you've also got to overtake the driver.
Definitely.
So Techno is...
with Chopper at the minute.
Techno's around 1.2 seconds behind Josh, and he's closing. He's gaining a couple of attempts every corner, but then Josh suddenly pulls away and gets a 10th on him.
Well, the top three's podium is basically safe, because the next driver, who is TJ Honest, is 17.8 seconds behind them, and yeah, if you make a pit stop, then you will be quicker on fresh tires. So I think the top three is pretty safe now.
So Lord JB is chasing down Smelly Badger. There's 4 tenths of a second between them. The clouds are looking a lot brighter and a lot lighter, so the rain could stop, or maybe even just slowly stop come the end of the race.
Yeah, that's something which will be interesting. If Josh and Techno can hold on to those tires, then they will have to make another pit stop, and then if they make another pit stop, then Nowak will make another pit stop for Inters. So I think Nowak is still pretty much within striking distance for this race win.
So anything can happen as we've got 10 laps to go. Let's see what can happen between Techno and Josh. You can see him and he's within reaching distance of him. Techno's trying to be the driver on the charge, trying to get past Josh into second position. Honey Badger is going quicker as well on the new Inters. He's closing up to SFR Chopper, so it's 8 tenths of a second behind him. That should be quite an interesting little battle when they come to it.
Honey Badger and Pad, they are both doing a pretty good job.
For the debut drives, yeah, doing brilliant jobs. Fair racing by him as well. A little incident in qualifying which will probably be addressed, but great showing so far, as Nowak is still 3 seconds in front of SFR Josh Fletcher, but Techno is just over 1.1 seconds behind Josh now.
Now come the lap cars. For Nowak, he cleared Uzi pretty cleanly.
Looks like Lord JB is going to try and have another look at Smelly Badger. Again, it's turn 1, but he thinks better of it. He's going to follow him round now. Hash driver all over the back of the Williams. Let's see what he can do. Jack has got decent race pace even in the rain. He says it's probably better in the rain than the dry, and he's having a little look. He's going to try and make the move. He gives just enough space as the Williams driver. Look, they're going side by side, but Williams driver taking the inside line with a Haas following on the outside. Go on board with Lord JB.
Haas Williams as well, with Honey Badger and Chopper at the minute.
Lord JB just cannot get past Smelly Badger. Looks like it's gone a bit too deep there, but so did Lord JB. Lord JB all over the back of Smelly Badger at the moment. This is for 10th and 11th, so a point in it between them. Lord JB just a touch earlier on the break there, but got a bit of drive away coming out of this corner.
Side by side.
Yeah, and Techno is just 6 tenths away from Josh now.
All bit of contact. More contact as well from Chopper and Honey Badger again.
We will go on board with Techno Thriller. He's chasing down SFR Josh Fletcher. Josh is going to have to try and do something because he's losing a lot of time to Techno Thriller. Traffic getting out of the way. Uzi doing a brilliant job there. One of the lap cars getting right out of the battle, which keeps it fair for these guys on track.
Techno is so close.
He's so quick as well, which is good to see because he didn't seem up or around there in qualifying, but in the race he's just come alive.
Yeah, definitely. And so far Novak is still 3.4 seconds away from them. So maybe this battle is only for P2.
It could be. There's quite a few laps, 8 laps to go. Novak has been on the tyres since the start of lap 14.
13, 14, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to have quite a bit of wear, especially if the tyres are not the right tyres for the conditions.
Yeah, but remember, Techno has put it on the same lap as well, so... And Josh just did it a lap after, so...
Correct,
these tires
that's
are
it.
pretty old now. I think.
Techno is under 7 tenths of a second behind Josh. He's probably maybe start getting a little bit frustrated if he can't get past him a little bit quicker than he is doing. He's getting within a couple of attempts, but Josh won't let that position go easy.
Yeah, well, Techno has to concentrate forward and backwards.
So Chopper is still chasing down Honey Badger. About 1 second between them, 7 tenths now. Chopper will be trying to get closer as he's going through a little bit closer. He takes the corners 1 and 2, nicely done, and he's got also Lord JB is in 10th position. He got past Smelly Badger for the remaining point in the race.
I'm still amazed by Humbug.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant
he's
race.
5th. That's awesome.
So let's see what happens here now. Look at that. Techno so close to Josh.
And Josh is just playing for that exit.
Rain is still coming down quite heavy, which is weird because you'd expect everyone to be more comfortable on the wet tyres.
Yeah, they are doing a pretty good job on Inter tires. And Novak is only 7 laps away from winning this one, including this one.
He's dropped a bit of time though to Josh. 2 tenths dropped by Novak. Must have had a sloppy exit on corner. But Techno is still in 3rd position and he wants that 2nd position very badly. And he's going to try and keep applying the pressure to Josh. Just see if Josh will make a mistake. It's very highly unlikely Josh will, but Techno has to play these games.
And do you believe if Josh wasn't there, Techno would be catching Novak?
I don't see it because I'd say Josh is at a level like Techno and Josh can't do it. I don't think Techno could. It's just because they may be in the same position with tyre wear that's why they're sticking with each other, because
well, I'm not
Techno
talking
would
about,
get past him.
I'm not talking about the level between the skill level between the two of them, but I'm talking about this race and at this time, this moment, on this track, in these conditions, on these tires, I think maybe Techno would be quicker and would be able to catch Novak if Josh wasn't there at this time.
It'd been interesting to want to see, but I just don't think Techno Thriller's at the level of Novak yet. Just over in race conditions like this.
Well, it's a difference between tires, and now they seem to be quicker on the Inters than Novak on the wet tires. I think, yeah, I know what you're saying, but
I just don't see Josh holding Techno up too much during the race. Josh pulls
yeah, he's
away.
Not holding. Yeah, no, he's pulling away, but I think for the last 5 laps, Techno was like 7 tenths away from Josh, and yeah, he couldn't overtake him because he didn't have the ERS, and maybe he's running lower wings because of the wet weather. But I think he would be able to get closer to Novak, but yeah, we won't know that of course.
I think a good race for that would be on a dry track, and with Techno second on the grid and Noak first. Be quite interesting.
Well, I think if Novak would be first on a dry track, then he would pull away. I think that's my opinion.
So you think these conditions suit Techno Thriller a little bit better?
Sorry?
Do you think these conditions are suiting Techno a little bit better than if he was in the dry?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I've got you.
On this track, these conditions, this track, these tires, this time. So I'm not talking about an overall performance or anything like that. I'm just talking about this race. And I think he's pretty quick now. He is quick also, always, but he's pretty quick now.
I think a driver like we're watching Honey Badger at the moment. He's about 0.3 of a second behind Peds in 7th. I think Honey Badger would be a good driver to see where he can finish. He looks like a driver that may challenge the top 3 in the championship.
Yeah, maybe some races he can challenge them, definitely, I think. Like,
he's going to try and make a move. He's all over the back of Peds. He's going down the for the outside of the corner.
Yeah, that's what I expected to do. But this corner is pretty hard to... Oh, he got forced wide, yeah. That was a little bit unfair by Ped.
So, Honey Badger gained a position which probably they could have done it a little bit better, but let's go on board with Techno. He's 0.5 of a second behind Josh. He's gained so much in the last little bit of a lap. Gained about 3-4 of a second, so Techno is on a charge again, lap 25 out of 29.
And maybe we can get into consideration a puncture, because they're running on these tires for so long.
Is it easier to get a puncture in the wet than the dry, or does it not matter on the game?
Well, I don't know. I think if you're running on a dry track, the track is hotter, so I think you can get a puncture more likely on a dry track than on wet, but anything can happen in Formula 1.
Peds is going back at Honey Badger. Honey Badger touched the back right of Peds' car there, but they both keep it on the track, both going strong still.
This is a good battle between them, because they are both rookies in this league, newcomers, and they are doing quite a good job and fighting for that better place in the standings in their first race.
Peds is he's got some great defensive driving as Peds, as Honey Badger still can't get past him. Honey Badger still trying every corner. He's trying to get a little bit closer to him, and it looks like he does. Just let's see what they can do for the next few corners, because it looks like Peds is a little bit slippy and slidey coming out some of the corners, so either tyre weight getting to him or track. That part of the track is just a little bit too wet.
And Novak seems to be having an advantage now. Like, I believe it's his race to lose now.
So we're on lap 27 of 29, Speed Force Racing Premier Division. We're from Australia, round 1, and it looks like Noak has just done about enough to maybe get this race win, but Techno is all over the back of SFR Josh, as is Honey Badger on the back of Peds. We'll just stick with this battle a little bit closer than the one up front. Honey Badger all over the back of him. A Toro Rosso driver will be feeling it.
And I believe it's very good to see the top 3 drivers this close to each other in the first race of the season, because it will shake up the season pretty well, I think.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. Looks like Honey Badger's right on the back of the Toro Rosso now. He's trying to line him up, go on board with Honey Badger. Let's see what's going to happen. He tries to brake a little bit later than Peds, and he's done the move. A great move there by Honey Badger. Goes into 7th position.
Now Techno is really pushing it. He's not giving up on P2 still.
This early in this season, do we expect a dive bomb from Techno? Maybe on the last lap?
Definitely not. Definitely not. That would be a Mark Marquez. So nah. I think it's fairer to just come in behind someone and try not to kill him on the final corner.
Yeah, I agree. So Techno is doing all he can. SFR chopper 3-second time penalty. That will be for corner cutting. 4 tenths of a second or less than that now, separating between Techno and Josh. Let's see what Josh can do.
Close. Mistake by Techno.
One battle I think you lot might want to keep an eye on is TJ Honest and Humbug. Humbug is closing on him quite quickly. So I don't know if it's what you were saying a little while ago. Could TJ Honest's tyres be going, and could he get a puncture?
Yeah, maybe he can.
That's what I'm just watching at the minute. Humbug is just closing on him all the time.
So as we wait for that battle to spice up, we're still in the heater battle. Lap 28 or 29, and Techno is 6 tenths of a second behind Josh. Gamey Things getting past Honey Badger as well. But Honey Badger now slipped down to 7th position.
Honey Badger is overtaking Gamey, or at least he's trying.
Yeah, we're on board with him now.
We're starting the last lap in just a couple of seconds. Oh, I think Josh just made a bit of a mistake, but it won't cost him anything.
So Techno has got one last lap to do it before the race finishes.
And I was wondering about a potential 3-second penalty for any of these drivers in the top 3. That would spice up everything.
All Honey Badger and Gamey Things just touched there again.
Oh, and yeah, they're touching each other. Man, this is for position.
All drivers pushing hard, some a little bit too hard.
That was so close. And Gamey almost lost it and turns a little bit in on.
And Humbug is all over the back of TJ Honest now.
And Techno is now or never, I believe. He's so close. I think he's the closest now.
Yeah, he's around 4 tenths of a second behind Josh, so he gets this close, and it just looks like Josh does enough to keep Techno behind him.
But it will be Novak, I believe. Who will win this race?
Novak is coming around to do his final couple of corners.
Oh, there you go, that dive bomb, what you've been talking about.
Novak going down the start-finish straight for the last time, and that's it. He gets his first win of the season on Australia on a very wet track. There we go. Premier Division's first winner is Novak, and Josh comes in second.
Is attacking TJ Honest. He's going for it.
Oh, is there going to be a bit of contact between these two? Humbug is trying to keep it nice and clean.
Huge battle between the two of them. Watch out for the dive bomb. No. It wasn't to be. Maybe a drag race? No.
Oh, TJ Honest.
He got him!
Humbug's done him.
Yeah, he got him.
What a finish. Well done, Humbug.
Did you see that?
No, and that's what I'm disappointed about.
I think TJ Honest slowed down.
Yeah,
before he got to the finish line.
I think he got out of fuel.
Yeah, he had no fuel.
Yeah, disappointing race though for Lee.
Lord JB's coming around the final corner. He's going to get the last point available. Job well done for him. First point of the season. He seems happy as well.
was a good race. The start of the season. Some close finishes. Pretty good race, I believe.
So there we go. Noak, he's bringing his pace for season 2. He's still got it in him. A 2.5 second race win over Josh. Techno and Josh having a little bit of a quite bad little battle. I think who made the dive bomb? Was it Techno?
Yeah, it was Techno.
I knew it. I told you that, and you thought he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He's a champion.
Yeah, I thought he wouldn't, but he made it. Yeah.
All down deep inside, we all want that win, no matter what you have to do to take it.
Yeah. I will invite the top 3.
Brilliant, thank you. So Noak is first, second is Josh, third Techno, fourth Humbug, fifth TJ Honest, Honey Badger 6th, 7th Gamey Things, Peds is in 8th, 9th is SFR Chopper, Lord JB 10th, 11th Smelly Badger, Lee Now 12th, Uzi 13th, BDS Jadrius 14th, Aspherix 15th, and a couple of drivers DNFing and even before the session.
Yeah, good race. It was a good race.
Yeah, very exciting race, especially all the way through, which is brilliant to start the race, to start the season off with.
Yeah, I'm looking out for China pretty much now, because I hope it won't rain in China, and we might see a dry race between the 3 title contenders right now, Techno, Josh, and Novak. Will be fun.
Good evening.
Evening,
good
Noak.
evening, buddy.
Oh.
Just waiting for a couple of more drivers to join us in for a chat. That will be Techno and Josh. So, a great race to start the season off. Excitement from start to finish, which is what we like to see. Just waiting for Josh and Techno to get in, last season champion. Techno Thriller looks like he made a move on Josh come the end of the race, so that'd be good to see what happened there. Evening, Josh.
Hello, mate. How we doing?
Yeah,
Not
good
too bad.
evening.
Just waiting on Techno.
She's just about to join, I believe.
Brilliant. He's making us wait. Okay, we'll start. Oh, here we go. There's Techno. Thank you guys. Great race. We will hand over to Peter and John to carry out the driver interviews. Peter?
Okay, thank you. So, first of all, congratulations, guys. You are the top 3 of Australia, Season 2, SFR. Good job, guys. First of all, Novak, congrats on the race win, and yeah, we'll have a pretty interesting question for you. Was that wet tire strategy was your original strategy, or you just made a mistake on not picking the Inter tires?
I mean, no, to be honest with you, I thought it'd be heavy rain throughout the whole entire race. So I even at the beginning of the race, I immediately put my next tire option to the wet tire. And then I don't know what lap it was in the middle of the race. I was still feeling quite confident on the wet tire, and I thought the conditions were suiting it. Then obviously I pitted, and Techno, I believe, was coming at the same exact time, and I looked behind me and his team was putting on the intermediate, so I was kind of doubting myself. even when I came out of the pits, even when I came out of the pits, like the rain, like kind of was very light. So I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, what have I done here? But I mean, after Josh pitted, I believe I had like a 2-second gap or something. I kind of like maintained the gap, which was quite surprising to me. I don't know if the Inters weren't performing as well. But yeah, I mean, I really had to be very consistent to maintain the gap. And yeah, that's why I think it's one of my best races.
Yeah, thank you. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, so Josh, good job on second place. What was your plan after qualifying on P2 on super soft tires?
Yeah, well, I just put them on because sometimes the harder tyre can be faster when it's like wet, but not wet enough for wet tyres, if you know what I mean. So I just thought I'd try something different.
I mentioned
So
it, yes.
Yeah, and then obviously, I don't think there was much difference between the Inters and the wets at the end of the race. I think they were pretty much lapping at the same speed because Noak was pretty much exactly the same speed as I was on the Inters. So yeah, and Tech was pushing me all race, which was good fun, and I had to manage that gap.
Yeah, good job, good job. And you, Techno, congrats on P3, last year's champion. What's your opinion about the race?
Well, I think it all went wrong in qualifying when I was one of the first to cross the line. Set the time with Ultra Soft still on a wet track, and I lost a lot of, well, not too much, but a few seconds behind TJ Honest, my teammate, and Lionel, I think it was. And so after that, the whole race I was just trying to catch up. Fletcher, the pace was so close. It's literally like a 10th each lap. It was a difficult race.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, drivers, you are free to leave. Great job tonight. We will catch you next week. So there we go, guys. The drivers giving the views, the top three there. Interesting race from start to finish, which is a brilliant way to start our season, like Peter said. So we look forward to China next week. I expect another wet race. What about you guys?
What about you, John?
I want it to be a dry race.
Yeah, same here. I think a dry race would really show the true face of the, let's call them the 3 title contenders. For me, they are the 3 title contenders at the moment. Then, of course, everyone can surprise me, of course, but I want to see them at the pure pace on a dry track to go head to head.
Yeah, I think that would be quite an interesting spectacle. Hopefully we will have it here next week, 8:25 PM GMT next Wednesday. Will be our next race to China, so join us then. So from myself, Peter and John, good night everyone.
Good night.
Good night.